Newsflash.
Hang on.
Hi there.
This is my Bonzoleum Market Investors Corner number 4. Today is April 13th. It's Friday the 13th. I was born on Friday the 13th. At 6:66 a.m. I was 6 pounds, 66 ounces. The VIX. VIX. The VIX is under 18. Now, in a weird way, I'm not going to say this with as much straight up confidence as I said the first 3 times in the videos that I was 100% right. Which doesn't, I find that I'm right 81-ish, 2-ish% of the time. I was fortunate enough that especially the last one I made, that like the next day it went exactly as I predicted. I'm dead serious, you can look it up. But I will say this, remember, nobody's 100% right, and oftentimes I'm wrong like anybody else. But I will say this. Remember, the stock market is reflected in the indices, or indexes, I don't know why they don't say indices anymore, is essentially a thermometer over what the hell's going on in the world, okay? Literally, like the world, it used to be the United States. So here's the world at the doctor's office. And here's the stock market thermometer. Okay? There's no reason for the VIX to be under 17 right now. As I've said before in my other videos. Most of it will just say boils down to political risk. So you have China with, you know, the tariffs and stuff. You don't know how much of that behind the scenes is just sort of a game, like, you know, like it's really not that big a deal with the scope they're talking about, but sometimes between countries, it's almost like if you see like 2 football players in a locker room fooling around with each other, but at some point it might get a little personal, like if somebody's sort of like, if there's one of those and then somebody's like, heh heh, and then they start throwing punches, that happens in the political arena. Remember, countries and governments are almost like people. They are, okay? So you have China with the trade thingies. You have Russia, the Russia investigation, not just via our government, but just sort of in general. We have Syria brewing over there. Syria is simmering, okay? We have the president who's in office. Now, I consider myself to have my own political views. A lot of them are Democratic, the party, and a lot of them are Republican. To me, I just come out and I see things that way. I don't necessarily, didn't wake up one day and was like, I'm a Republican. That's silly to do. It just is, okay? Well, in my opinion. So anyway, I'm just going to go back to the VIX and indeed, well, the stock market. Now, just remember, as far as the numbers reflect, since more or less the president got in office, you'll see the stock market is reflected by the Dow, we'll say, went from like more or less 20 G's, 20,000, to 26. Now, obviously, at a higher number, that's a smaller percentage. That's still massive. That's still, because it doesn't matter percentage. When the market goes down 1,000 points, that's still reflected per tick in value back to you when you're trading. Okay, there's more volatility in the market in a sense. The absolute numbers look bigger, but it's still the same percentage, right? That's, at some point, they might even, as the market gets, they might, like, anyway, let me just, so you have Syria, which is vis-a-vis into Russia, which is vis-a-vis into political risk even in our country, right? But remember, there's very separate Russia things kind of going on. There's the big issue, but then sub-things, okay? That's risk. In the present, in one of the videos I said future value when I meant present value. In the present value of any asset or stream of there's a present value you can come with today. There's fixed things like, well, interest rates where I could invest if I, you know, just put it in T-bills, and then there's the reinvestment rate risk, and then you have interest rate risk, and then you have, what are some of the other risks they talk about in economic books? Well, risk decreases the value of an asset in the present. Well, I should say, yeah, well, risk, bad, like a lot of risk. We are in risk land. If we've ever been in Riskburg, in Risk Groves, in risk heights. It's now, okay? I don't know what the hell the VIX is doing below 17. Now, don't get me wrong. If you look at a long-term map of the VIX, I mean, for a long time it was down like in the single digit. I mean, so it's relatively high if you go back further enough in a sample of time. But that's not, things have changed, right? Okay, so that's my point. If I assume they have VIX calls, and I don't know how overpriced they, like how much the risk premium is on the outside. In value of options, there's the Black-Scholes model, which is generally sort of used, and I don't know if it's strictly used anymore, but the point is that there's mathematical values you can use for, like, you can use futures to, you can synthesize the values, blah, blah, blah. But in a higher volatility as reflecting the price of an option, there's a, let's just say there's probably a skew to the calls that's not there on the puts, okay? So I would advise anybody, and maybe buy some 25 or 26 calls in the VIX. Maybe buy some, let's just say I do think for those who trade, there's a lot of day traders, okay? There's always opportunities. The way I always look at it is I'm not naturally a bear. There's just times where you can recognize where there's going to be snaps, okay? There's going to be snapbacks, and I think we're in snapback headquarters. So I just wanted to say that. I'll get a little playing in. Hang on. The VIX would be a good song. All right, now get ready here. At this point, it's not the VIX. Oh, it's just the VIX. It's like this. The VIX. Oh, the VIX. What the hell are you doing under 20? Ah! VIX. The VIX. Anyway, so occasionally I'm just going to put these babies out there. So more videos on the way. George and I are getting together soon. We were going to get together today, but we are getting together today, but we're not going to make videos. You got to see, look on Bonzology, the YouTube channel. And don't forget, gtbonzology@gmail.com to send emails directly to George. George just put up Days Confused Live from '73. He's killing it. Thank you for watching. More videos on the way.